The post-election violence that rocked the country back in 2007 and early 2008 left a trail of destruction that will remain to haunt most Kenyans for years and even decades to come. Thousands died while hundreds of thousands were displaced, now living in dingy tents commonly known as IDPs. Today we are most privileged to be joined by the chairman of the IDPs, who is going to share with us the lives of these Kenyans 4 years later in the IDP camp. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Mr. Kariuki,
Yes.
we appreciate the fact that you people have been able to live in these camps for the last 4 years against all the challenges. But today, most importantly, we want you to share with us how has been the life of the IDPs in these camps for the last 4 years.
The first priority is to thank God for far He has taken us. One thing is that it's only because of His mercies that is why we are alive today. Many people left Rift Valley, Nyanza, and Western. And we were evicted from where we are living. We lived a very good life. We used to work with our own hands. Whatever we had, we got from our sweat. But now the big problem is that since we were displaced, we started life in mostly in Nakuru Escacio ground, which was the largest camp in the country by then. That's the year 2008. Then we left Nakuru, we went to Mawingu. So we have been suffering for the last 4 years. We have lost lives there. We have lost more than 200 people in the camp. And most these cases are why is about rheumatic, high blood pressure, those diseases. And the experience has not been so nice. It's hard, life is hard. Don't have friends, you know, life of rejection.
After the 2008 violence, a national accord was formed consequently to the formation of the Grand Coalition government. Or maybe, do you think the reconciliation process has been effected so far for this span of 4 years?
The people who were affected, right now for me to go back to where I came from, sometimes it's hard. When I go there, I feel I'm not safe. But now, what is reconciliation? It's good for us to know what is reconciliation. Whom do we reconcile with? The first reconciliation is between we and the politicians, but not we Kenyans with Kenyans versus Kenyans. No.
It is presumed that IDPs, the government rather, the ministries that are concerned in the resettlement program, that is the special program ministry and other aligned ministries, they have been trying to ensure that IDPs are resettled the soonest time possible. But they're saying that there has been an impediment, like IDPs not really cooperating, like they don't concur maybe with the way the government has programmed the resettlement. What is the issue in this scenario?
I think the issue is about politics, not about the government. Last time I talked to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Provincial Administration and Internal Security, and I'm very happy of him. He is responding very well. I talked to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Special Programs. They respond very well. But we have some other politicians. For example, the land we identified, we wrote a letter to His Excellency, and we submitted that letter. Then the minister went to see that, the PSS went to see that land, and they saw the land was habitable. The land was good. But we have some other business people, and they are politicians. They are prominent people in the government. Some of them are members of parliament. One of them is a member of parliament. He is, I think he's within the committee of IDP. The committee of IDP is one of the member of parliament. He's the one who is politicizing on that land. He said that the land is not habitable. The land is not good for people to live. My question is to that member of parliament. He is not the one who will be settled to that land. We have an interest of that land. We want to be settled to that land. I was called by one of the senior people of this country, and he told me I would be given 20 million if I allow IDPs to be settled in a certain parcel of land, which was not habitable. It was not a good land. How can I betray our own people? We have suffered for the last 4 years. I can't do that. We have identified a very good land, of which we believe that our people will be settled there forever, and they will have good life. So that's what the big problem is. The government is willing to settle people, But the politicians are the ones who are interfering with the resettlement. Yeah.
The official report, that is end-year report by the Minister of Special Programs, has indicated that a certain amount of money, millions of course, has been used in the program of resettling IDPs. And also there's another targeted amount which is to be spent again in the same process of resettling IDPs. I do not really understand, because we are seeing these people are still in the camp. We are seeing that there's a certain amount of money which has so far been spent. Maybe to the best of your knowledge, what is your understanding about the money that has been spent in resettling IDPs? Are there some of the IDPs who have been resettled so far?
The IDPs who are supposed to be settled in this country, they are about 6,000, not about, 6,802, according to the government. But the IDPs who are settled from the last 4 years, for the last 4 years, are only 1,300. You see? So the government has absolutely nothing. There are some people who have been taking advantage of the suffering of the IDPs. For example, there was a certain district commissioner. He said the people who were in the camp, and according to his record, were 7,800, of which that was not true. The IDPs who are in that camp were only 4,600. I raised that issue. They wanted to kill me. That was not my problem. My problem was, okay, my problem was not about the numbers. My problem was our people were not appearing in the government register. Many of the IDPs were not appearing in the government register. When you raise those kind of issues, people have benefited from the suffering of the IDPs. People have enriched themselves. And some of them are prominent people. I'm very sorry, because I don't want to quote them, because we know them. They have benefited from this suffering. And maybe one day, one of these fine days, I will take you somewhere. You see some other things, you'll be shocked.
Yeah. At this point, therefore, what is going to be your take? As in, are you going to allow the government to look for the parcel of land to resettle IDPs? Because eventually that is what they are doing, maybe, as we are speaking, finding the land to resettle IDPs. Or is it about IDPs themselves identifying the land and then informing the government? Because you've tried to do this and things have not materialized. What is going to be the fate?
Okay, what happened initially, the government was identifying land for the IDPs. But later, we were called by the Permanent Secretary Special Programs. And he told us, if you identify land, please bring those documents. Then we buy that land for you. You see? On our side, we have already identified a parcel of land. We are not going to wait there for the government to identify land for us. We have already identified that land. So what we wanted the government to do is only to pay for that land. And we have given the government until 2nd of January. On that, I think it will be otherwise.
Yeah.
Because I don't see whether it is wisdom. You see, there is this issue of Agenda 4. Agenda number 1, that is gone. Agenda number 2, that one's still there because IDPs are still in the camp. Agenda number 3, that is gone. Agenda number 4, that is gone. We have new constitution. IDPs are still suffering in the camp. And that was part of the agendas. And I don't think whether we will be ready to go for voting in the next 2012. I don't see whether it will be possible. Until the government settle all people, then it will be done.
Yeah, maybe Mr. Kariuki, how about the unique cases in the camps? The issue of medication. We are also seeing that the population is actually increasing because people are, there's kind of people increasing in the camp. Maybe how is this being addressed now in the camp? Let's talk the issue of like the people who are HIV positive living in the camp. How are they accessing medication?
One thing I want to thank the Ministry of Health. At least they have done something because they take care of the people living with HIVs and AIDS. At least they get medication. But not the problem. Those people, they need special food, special diet. So they don't get that food. Another issue is about sanitation. When you go to that camp is another challenge. Another is the psycho services are not there. For example, the people who are affected. We have one case of one elderly. He lost his wife. He lost 7 kids. No, he was just left alone. You see, when you don't take care of that such kind of case, we might lose that man. We have some other cases like people living with diabetes, people living with HIV and AIDS, diabetes, high blood pressure, those cases. So those cases are not being addressed. We have the cases of elderly. We have very old people. For example, we have one old mama. She's 110 years. She doesn't get special diet. The issue of food is a challenge.
Let me just allude to what you said earlier about the issue of election. Yeah, we're actually moving to the electioneering year, that is 2012. And you as IDPs, I'm sure when you were talking about election, something at least stings in your mind. Maybe you represent the hearts of the IDPs. You are living in the IDP camp now. What is the feeling of these people as we move to another year for the election? Do you feel like you are comfortable? Do you have peace in listening or hearing about the issue of having elections, electing leaders again? What is your feeling?
One thing we are not happy to see how politicians are moving in the country. It's like mockery. Politicians are mocking Kenyans, are mocking IDPs. Yet we are not settled. They are moving in the country, saying that I want to be president, I want to be who, I want to be whatever. We feel so bad. They don't care about Kenyans. They care about whatever they are doing for the sake of business, but not for the sake of Kenyans. And we are going to demonstrate against that because it's very shameful. It is shame on them going around the country talking of 2012. And let me tell you the truth. 2012, we might experience something else like this. The country is not yet healed. Peace and reconciliation has not been done. I know at long last, people will live together like brother and sister. Because we believe in one thing. We are no longer belonging to a tribe or a race or a mankind, but for the living God. For example, I myself, my wife is a Kalenjin. And I'm proud of that. So we don't care. We don't have, the tribalism was being cooked by politicians. And they are still cooking that thing. There was another certain of land in Narok. We were supposed to be settled in that land. You see what happened? Politicians cooked something that Kikuyu should not be settled in this land. You see? Yeah. Then you are saying that Kenya is safe? No. I'm requesting Kenyans, at least for this time around, to be very careful of this, because we believe, what we believe in this country, we are only two tribes, rich and poor. If Kenyans open their minds and know where they were, mostly youths, because youths, you have power to destroy and to build this nation. And I will urge most of the youths that this nation belongs to us. The future of this nation is in our hands. We can destroy it and we can make it good. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kariuki, for joining us.
Thank you.
I really feel for you, and I feel for the IDPs who are in the camps as you're speaking now. And one very important thing he's been able to highlight here is about the issue of tribalism, which is still dominant and has space in our society here in Kenya. And also the issue of resettling IDPs is just about a collective responsibility, calling upon diverse political class and also all the political leaders to come on board and ensure that the IDPs are resettled. Actually, it's very regrettable that 4 years later, these IDPs are still in the camp. And as even we move to another electioneering year, these people still have no peace. They even dream like there shouldn't be something of elections again, because it just reminds them of the torture, the fight, the violence that occurred in 2007 and early 2008. It has been a pleasure to have you in our studios. We hope that, and we pray that the government is going to fast-track resettlement of the IDPs to ensure that you go back to your normal lives. Thank you so much for joining us.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Nice.